subscribe.
Run while you can. Judgment comes by God and man. Cure the plague of immigration. Results of failed assimilation. The time has come to rid ourselves of the burden of this Weimar hell. Our problem must be finally shred. Wood chippers ready to be fed. Other ways may be quicker, but they don't bring the satisfaction. This evil needs liquefaction. Criminals and traitors too. A special fate for those who knew. Coffin engines flake in rust. Sand of time turn to dust. It's getting worse. You're going in, trotters first. Halfway down, it's quite the scene. Watch you exit the machine. Very soon you'll not exist. Your mortal coil turned to mist. Spinning disc and grinding gears. The sound is music to my ears. Now there's no escape. You plot and plan a nation's rape.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful evening tonight. We have a very special Thursday evening stream, which we don't usually do. It's going to be a bit of a doozy, a singular topic, that being going over the foil trans mass casualty event. And there are so many layers and little details that it could only be compiled by someone with severe autism. And that person is Bucky at Glow So Bright. Thank you for being here and for doing all of the hard work on this and bearing the brunt of some of the trans hatred, I guess, if that makes sense. Because some of these people have gone after you personally.
Yeah, and so many other people too. It's a fluke that no innocent people have been killed or law enforcement, and only they acted when the police only acted when they're directly threatened, and the strip was threatened to be shot up. The FBI knew
Before that, they didn't care.
Yeah. They knew the
but
whole
other
time.
than that, how's your night going?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's splendid. I also went and I discovered that I can shove one of these in my back pocket, so I can carry it with me every day. A glongazine.
Well, I mean, a little bit of paranoia might not be a bad thing, you know. At least you're not doing the black thing where you have the thing just sticking out of your shirt, obviously, because it's just sitting in the magazine. Is that a extendo, or are you just happy to see me there, sir?
But I've been thoroughly been vindicated. My paranoia is actually justified.
Yeah, no matter how much people try to cope and seethe or deflect, trans people are just nuts. Really, and they get really upset when you tell them that too. It's crazy. It's like when you tell somebody, yeah, the certain demographics are rather violent, and then they threaten to kill you over that statement. It's like, okay, all right, bud. Fair enough. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into.
Hey, Chad, you ever heard of Zap Carry?
Zap Carry?
Yeah, it's the new method to carry a Glock. It's a classic.
Nice, good. I'm sure it works quite well, but let's go ahead and talk about wrong one. That's at the end of the show. Oh, gosh dang it. I just deleted my tab. Way too many tabs open right now. Okay, here we go. Finally. All right. Trans gunman. This was from yesterday. Trans gunman caught an alleged casino terror plot with huge cache of weapons as cops release chilling footage. Now, the entire story is wacky and wild, but to give you a little bit of an intro to it, you have a known to the FBI, as we'll get into, insane transgender person, just a gay dude, married to another dude, right? Who might be trans as well. Not really sure about that, but had been threatening to do a mass casualty event since like 2024 and had been on a bunch of people's radars. But one of the most notable thing about this specific instance of threatened, mass casualty events from a trans person, it was basically a weekly occurrence at this point, is the collection of firearms. Do you think that's accurate, Bucky?
That is as much as could be shoved into a sedan, but yes.
I mean, just look at the sheer volume of firearms, but also the type. Like a literal M2 being
True
planned to
grenade
being
launcher.
used in a mass casualty event. Like if you thought that Mandalay Bay was bad, imagine that with an M2.
Imagine how Mandalay Bay would be viewed with more suspicion when they find actual like links and shell casings and stuff scattered all over the floor
Oh yeah, yeah.
instead of whatever the hell happened and hardly anything.
Well, and just a very strange scenario. Okay, that's off topic. But yeah, the M203s, the collection of random firearms, and this isn't even like a quarter of it. There is so much to get into in terms of the firearm collection that these insanos had. But
I mean,
I
even the
think
throwbacks of bringing the Desert Eagle to a terrorist attack over in Las Vegas,
mm,
like the one guy that detonated a Cybertruck one time over at the Trump Tower.
that's true. That wasn't that long ago either. I was also equally suspicious. So that's the back of the car that they found him in. Better pictures of the Ma Deuce. And what the heck is that on top? Is that one of those thermal?
It's either a thermal scope or it's a copy of a PVS-2 or like a Starlight scope or a
Oh.
PVS-4.
Okay, well, side tangent here, but the Hellion already has the most miserable height over bore imaginable with that rail. And then you're adding another 2 inches on top of that. That thing is barely got to be usable or is almost impossible to use. A PVS 4? Yeah. Also, like, aren't Mod Deuces or M2s, aren't they like $50,000?
I think 70 or 80,000 current market rate for a pre-86.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy, but we'll go through this real fast. So on Saturday, June 27th, a coordinated response by the Henderson Police Department, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police, blah, 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 helped prevent what investigators believe could have become a tragic act of violence. The investigation began after a Henderson police received a 911 call reporting a domestic dispute involving a stolen vehicle that was believed to contain numerous firearms, as they just showed. The caller also reported alarming statements indicating the suspect intended to commit suicide by cop and carry out a mass shooting. Now, we know that this now, but the husband was the person who actually made the phone call to the cop saying that, hey, my tranny husband has lost his marbles after threatening to kill me and has now said he's going to go commit a mass casualty with our insane collection of firearms. So, using vehicle tracking information, Henderson police officers quickly located the vehicle at a Sunset station. Through calm communication, tactical decision making, and exceptional restraint, officers safely took the suspect into custody without injury to the public. So, 22 firearms within the car, 30 additional firearms at the suspect's residence, and we'll get into the quality and the type therein. But we do have video footage of them successfully removing the guy from the car. So, this is actually pretty cool, like a good job on the cops for getting him out. So fortunately, it's not a real woman, so they were actually able to rationalize and reason with him a little bit. You still remain some of your retain some of your male faculties there. They got the guy boxed in. They're talking to him. Everything's blocked and locked down. And through this set of circumstances, the guy say, "Hey, do you want some water? It's really hot here. You can't go anywhere, but we'll come and bring you some water." The guy says, "Yeah." They go to give him the water, and as soon as they do that, they just rip him out of the car, as you're about to see. Yep, goes up to the door, and everybody just rips the twink straight out of the vehicle. Which, good job, good job on the officer. Honestly, very brave of him to be the one to, possibly be walking into a gunshot there. But good on him for ripping the guy out of the car. and for in terms of his position, making sure that nobody else got hurt. Now, the FBI and everybody else that knew about this ahead of time, well, that's bad on them for being lazy pricks until it actually affected them. So, identification of weapons captured. This is, of course, by Glow So Bright, which you should, of course, follow on X. Captured by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and released regarding terroristic threats by Howlett on Saturday, June 27th. So we have Desert Eagle, AR-15 pattern carbine, Accuracy International chassis, with whatever parts in it, an M1014, lever gun, a Marlin, AUG A3, underfolding AK, an M6, an FN P90, a Scorpion, an M2, M16A1 with a M203, bunch of suppressors, Springfield Hellion with a PVS2 or PVS4 style copy, and another M4 with an M203 underneath. So again, just an absolutely insane collection of firearms that most of us would be lucky to touch half of that, right? Now, there's another post here by Bucky, of course, going into more detail on the actual firearms themselves. You can see the close-ups and some other individuals that are seen, the torta that I put in the thumbnail, that are seen utilizing some of these firearms on the range, connecting them with certain people in certain times. Here you can see the M2 fully assembled with a bunch of links and shells. Very expensive day at the range, but hey, if you can afford, you know, the M2, I think you can afford the ammo, right? You can afford the whatever it is, $3, $4, $5 a round for that. All right. Now here we see post when they're all bagged up. And again, it's all basically the same stuff that we saw before. Now we have an M249. That is another belt-fed machine gun, a SCAR, an MP5, an HK417, a SIG 550, and another HK416, and, you know, Uzis and just a bunch of other random firearms that are numerous and insanely expensive. Like we're talking $500,000 collection in his car, probably somewhere in that range. Maybe $250,000. It's a lot of firearms to be had. Now, of course, 2 days ago, they put out the press release going over all of it. And as Bucky's background implies, they are indeed going to say the line that they always say, known to police. And this guy had not a huge social media presence. What would you say about his social media presence? He was definitely active, but it wasn't huge.
I'd say it's like more like for the niche stuff of like having expensive guns or having a certain type of gun, a definite presence, definitely in the women cosplaying or women imitation presence, definitely.
Hmm.
But then like this person would end up like once they start documenting everything or start like having one of their groups they're involved in to be accountable for and did a report on them, starts flipping out and deleting everything.
Right, of course.
And then starts acting more and more erratic and unpredictable and deranged and violent.
Which we'll get into. This person has been threatening violence and doing things for at least the last couple of years.
I'm Under Sheriff Andrew Walsh with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. With me today is Assistant Sheriff Dory Corin from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Special Agent in charge of the Las Vegas FBI Field Office, Christopher Delzato, and Chief Reggie Rader with the Henderson Police Department. We want to thank you all for being here today as we provide information with regards to a joint investigation that started on Saturday morning in Henderson. An individual was arrested on multiple felony charges to include threats related to an act of terrorism. As a reminder to everybody here and why it's important that you're here, we remind our community that the safety of our community remains all of our highest priorities. Every day, law enforcement officers work diligently with our local, state, and federal partners to identify threats, investigate credible information, and intervene before violence.
Oh, that's a good question. Sean Weiland says, does that timeline coincide with how long he's been trans? Do we know when he started trooning out?
I don't have a definite amount of information. I do know that existed since at least 2025. As far as what I've seen on QE farms, which I cannot independently confirm, there is since around 2024, the two men, like they would change their names. They were like one of them was gifted apparently a house of like worth 1.3 million or a property or so, sold it from a like a gift through a relative or inheritance, and then use that money to just like go do the woman LARPing thing and then change the names and then acquire all these guns. That's the working theory right now. Cannot individually.
Well, so they've been in a gay relationship though for a while.
At least since 24, if not
At
more.
least since 2024. Well, is that when they got married, or were they married before then?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Because
they're
that's
in the
probably
mid
public.
30s.
So if we know their names, we can probably look up their marriage certificate and find that out.
I did post a screen cap of the farms with their possible full names or previous names, but I don't know. I don't know. That's new to me.
Violence can occur. To start this, I'd like to turn the floor over now to Chief Reggie Rader from the Henderson Police Department.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Reggie Rader, Chief of Police for the Henderson Police Department. I'm here to provide a brief overview of this incident from the moment Henderson Police received the initial 911 call to how quickly officers located the vehicle and ultimately how the suspect was safely taken into custody. On Saturday, June 27th at approximately 9:38 a.m., Henderson Police 911 dispatchers received a call regarding a domestic dispute. The caller advised that her ex-spouse, Allison Howlett, had stolen her car and that the vehicle was loaded with numerous firearms. The caller said the suspect made threats indicating she intended to commit suicide by cop and carry out a mass shooting. The caller provided a vehicle description and license plate number for the vehicle. She indicated she did not know where the vehicle was headed. Officers arrived at the residence at around 9:51 a.m. and learned the caller had location tracking on the vehicle. The vehicle tracking showed it was mobile until stopping in the general vicinity of Warm Springs Road and Stephanie Street. Officers began conducting a grid search of the area.
Yeah, wrong word there. No. I mean, it is so funny to me to be like, you marry a gay dude, right? Which is already like disgusting. And then they troon out. And so now you're in, like, somebody has to pretend that you're in a straight relationship. The idea there is comical. It's like, here's me and my wife. We're in a totally heteronormative relationship here, don't you see?
And at around 11:17 a.m., with the assistance of our partners at Sunset Station Casino Security, Henderson police officers were able to locate the vehicle in the parking garage of the casino. The suspect was inside the vehicle with the music playing loudly, refusing officers' commands to exit the vehicle. To prevent her from fleeing, officers performed a tactical maneuver, blocking the vehicle in with their patrol cars. I will now show you video from inside the parking garage.
Well, yes, unironically, a 2A for all advocate. Unironically, a 2A for all advocate. And we have some of those people that we're going to pull up a little bit later.
Officers were eventually able to establish communication and convince her to roll down her window. During negotiations, she asked for water. The quick-thinking officers developed a plan to take her into custody as an opportunity arose when she reached for the water. Officers used that moment to gain control of her hands and remove her from the vehicle. During the struggle, the suspect was tased one time. Officers were then able to remove her from the vehicle, distancing her from the firearm inside, and were able to successfully take her into custody.
So he was sitting on a firearm that we see in the photos. Let me pull that up real fast. It would be somewhat ironic if this was a P320 and he was trying to work up the courage to get a free sex change on Ron Cohen's dime.
I'll now show you the body-worn camera video from this incident.
Instant folding, right? The voice goes away like instantly. It's just a tactical twink, you know. It's a man on hormones or whatever else that it might be, and folds instantaneously. So all of the one thing that is comforting about this is that the transgender individuals who are obviously mentally handicapped, as soon as they meet any sort of real violence or real force, like, they almost immediately fold. So they'll talk a big game on Twitter about like killing you or murdering you or, you know, stalking you or whatever it might be. It's the whole meme about like punch a Nazi, right? It's like, oh, if I saw a Nazi in person, I would punch them. And then they see like the first like Aryan chat and they're like, oh, actually, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here and not do a thing.
It should be noted that the suspect had been sitting on a handgun and had access to a fully automatic, silenced MP5 style machine gun in the backseat of the vehicle, further corroborating the reported threats of suicide by cop and having the means to carry out a mass shooting. Because of these details, we notified our regional partners at LBMPD's Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center. I'll now turn it over to Assistant Sheriff Dory Corin.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you to your officers that were out there on the initial call for service. There's no doubt that they faced an incredible danger, and thanks to them, they were able to prevent this from escalating any further. As mentioned, I'm Assistant Sheriff Dory Corn with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I oversee our Homeland Security and Investigative Services. As the Chief indicated, Henderson Partners called us immediately as soon as there was more information indicating a possible broader threat, as well as the presence of a lot of firearms. And so they notified the LVMPD Counterterrorism Section, which is interconnected with our FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, and members of both teams immediately responded to begin a thorough investigation. Early into this effort,
That's a good point. TP9 Brass Facts viewer confirmed. Yeah, this is your average PDW loadout bag gun fan, okay? Bag gun or fag? Something like that. There's some sort of mix up there.
team identified several threats that were allegedly made by the suspect over a period of time. Some of that information included the threat of wanting to become an active shooter or to conduct a mass attack here in Las Vegas. As an example, I'm going to play an audio recording from 2024 that was recovered that appears to capture the suspect making one of these threats.
I swear to God, the FBI doesn't come to fucking arrest me. There's gonna be a fucking action. There's going to be. One day there's not gonna be enough fucking comeback. There's nobody on the hold this shit back, bring it back in. There's one day you're gonna be piss me the fuck off, and it's gonna be the last fucking straw. I swear to God. You're gonna be the reason hundreds of people lose their goddamn life.
Obviously,
Very listen, okay, I made some jokes on this show, okay, about dispensing justice on individuals, okay, but never have I ever used the threat of murdering hundreds of people to get back at my partner. You know, this is very male pattern aggression that we're seeing here. This is a very male coded crash out. When women crash out, it's like, I'm gonna go have sex with a bunch of dudes, or I'm gonna get fat. That'll be vengeance. When a man crashes out, it's like, I'm going to kill people. That's my plan. It's a very male coded crash out. That's all I'm saying.
I think this is like a police response time where, like, if you like call on a serious threat and then they're not like threatened, it takes forever. And then if you go approach a police officer, pull out a gun, and then threaten to kill them, they respond immediately.
Oh, of course.
Things like
Well,
that.
that's the thing with police officers, or just like the whole idea of policing, is that they don't actually have a duty to protect you, right? They are not actually commanded to do that, right? And that's from like some older Supreme Court decisions. They actually have no duty to like give their life for you. But as soon as it does involve them or someone that they care about, or their own family, or whatever it might be, then yeah, of course it's going to be all hands on deck for something like that. Of course.
for our community here in Las Vegas after being on 1 October, those types of threats are.
It's kind of like the same two-tiered system where it's like, if somebody is, you know, of a certain ethnicity and they commit 37 assaults, 4 rapes, and 2 arsons and 16 robberies, they magically get let go on, you know, bail or reduced sentences or house arrest, whatever that happens to mean for a homeless person. But if you like speed too fast, you're going to jail. Or if you know, commit some minor misdemeanor, or if you like spray paint a flock camera, you get sent to jail immediately. It's like these two things are not quite the same. It's almost like they protect their own interests above the interests of the people themselves.
Are taken very seriously. Our team not only evaluated that threat information, but they also served a search warrant on the vehicle, which was still located in the parking garage for that casino hotel property. And inside that vehicle, investigators recovered 22 firearms and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. As you can see in these photos, there were multiple handguns, multiple rifles, and a variety of firearm-related equipment. Our team also moved forward with executing a search warrant on the suspect's residence in Henderson. Inside that location, investigators recovered 30 firearms. These are additional to the ones that were recovered in the vehicle. And in these firearms, there were automatic weapons, an M250 caliber firearm, 2 Colt AR-style rifles with attached M203 grenade launchers, 7 suppressors, and thousands of rounds of ammunition.
It looks like a Call of Duty Black Ops 1 loadout screen. It has all of the options for a Call of Duty Black Ops, the OG loadout, basically. Now,
like
also, Bucky, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's like if you play like Half-Life 2, type in the cheat code Impulse 101 and you unlock all the weapons.
Yeah.
This is what you get.
Now, who is the actual FFL SOT for all of this? Not the tranny shooter, but the gay husband?
I believe so. This individual is also spotted frequently over at Accuracy Gun Shop Incorporated over in Henderson, Nevada, but I don't know if those two entities are related to each other.
Okay, well, funny story about that, which we'll get to in a minute. But when we were at SHOT Show this year, myself, Arrow, Beast, and I'm gonna feel really bad for forgetting the other guy's name. There were 4 of us there. Anyways, the 4 of us went to that gun store. We were just bored the day before SHOT Show, and we were just wandering around to all of the gun stores in the area. So we were actually there at the tranny gun store, obviously months before this actually happened. Weird coincidence.
Following those search warrants, our team moved forward collaboratively with Henderson and our FBI partners, and ultimately the suspect was arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including assault with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, making a threat related to an act of terrorism, grand larceny of a vehicle, grand larceny of a firearm, resisting a public officer with the firearm, 4 counts related to possession, manufacture, or disposal of the short.
Now, what would be funny though, is if he owned a Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark I, considering that Micah said that he will arm anyone, including trans people. There needs to be a Troy T1 or a Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark I. Okay, and that would make this thing perfect. It would be the perfect collection of all these insane ideologies.
Barrel rifle, and 8 counts related to the manufacture, importation, possession, or use of a machine gun or silencer. As indicated earlier, we're still early into this investigative process, and especially as it relates to motive or background of the suspect. But our counterterrorism team is second to none, led by Lieutenant Cody Thompson, who's here, and the rest of this team. They have been working overnight since this initial incident. They'll continue to work to dig into every aspect of this investigation. As you know, Sheriff McMahill made it very clear that counterterrorism is a priority for our community. In fact, just earlier this year, he announced Project Meridian, which is a counterterrorism initiative designed to enhance our capabilities and truly change how we protect this community when it comes to not just technology, but our counterterrorism efforts. And just to remind everyone in terms of this incident, but also the genesis for that project, it came from an uptick in counterterrorism activity that we've seen now for the last 2 or 3 years. And that included an ISIS plot that was foiled by the team, a Hamas-related propagandist that was arrested locally, 2 active shooter incidents that we recently dealt with, a vehicle bombing that took place in front of Trump Towers, as well as a fire bombing at a Tesla repair facility. And
have we gotten any updates at all about the Tesla firebombing outside of the Trump Tower in Vegas? I have not heard anything about that story since Tim Kennedy opened his dumb mouth about it.
No, I have no idea. One thing I do know is that when I first came on a focus trip stream for the Tesla firebombing in Salem, Oregon.
Yep, because we covered that story too.
Yeah, a person got pre-release trial and is now free and out on the streets.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly, because it's that was in Portland, right?
Salem, but close enough.
Salem, right. So, I mean, but it just absolute insane leftist judge. It's oh, well, it's just a trans individual who's been oppressed by society and got a little wacky and decided to shoot up a random Tesla parking lot. What's wrong with that?
And here's a random coincidence. The individual over in Salem, Oregon is named Allison Tesla, or named himself Allison Tesla. The individual who got arrested in this incident, Allison Howlett. Huh. Think of that.
Interesting. Well, they always choose either demonic names like Lilith or something like that, or something really over the top feminine. Just I guess as cope, I suppose. It's one of the two, though.
In fact, even when the sheriff was announcing the rollout of this project, if you'll remember, that morning, the counterterrorism team, who's done an exceptional job in this case and those prior events, was also responding to another incident, which was a ramming of a power facility just outside of our community in January. All these incidents are different. The facts are different. The suspects, the different motivations, it varies in a variety of different ways. But the reality that it brings to forward now is our counterterrorism mission is critically important. And then the second thing it points out is that the team that's been doing this work, the men and women that represent the counterterrorism unit, not just of LVMPD, but our FBI partners, our Henderson partners, and everyone who's involved in this space, have done an exceptional job, and they'll continue to do that, working very long hours to keep this community safe. And on that note, to discuss partnerships a little bit further and the role of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, I want to turn it over to FBI Special Agent Chris Dolzado.
Good afternoon. The FBI is dedicated to supporting our state and local partners through a variety of initiatives. Our task forces examine action work back local law enforcement agencies to work together effectively to address complex criminal challenges and safeguarding national security. FBI task forces are essential to the Bureau's mission, leveraging the expertise of local and state law enforcement with federal resources and jurisdiction. These partnerships enabled coordinated, effective responses to threats, including terrorism, organized crime, narcotics trafficking, gang activity, kidnapping, and transnational organized crime across multiple jurisdictions. This case highlights the swift, effective, and strong partnerships that characterize the Las Vegas Valley. I recognize that questions may arise regarding the absence of federal charges at this time. The FBI does not become involved in cases solely at the final stages. Instead, we collaborate closely with our partners on significant cases from the very beginning. When federal charges are warranted, we are already fully engaged, ensuring a seamless and effective process. As in any case, the FBI is in lockstep with the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding the types of charges that may be pursued here. This case underscores the strength and impact of our law enforcement collaboration. FBI Las Vegas remains a committed partner, dedicated.
Dude, could this guy get to the point? Could he say something useful rather than just going on about how good they are at their job?
To serving and safeguarding Southern Nevada. Thank you.
Oh, was that the time statement was we did a good
So
job.
before we open it up to questions from you all, one thing to bear in mind is that
All right, was there another one? Did I miss one? Because I thought there was a better. Sorry, let me see here. I thought that there was a better version of it here. I think it's this
her
one.
car, and that the vehicle was loaded with numerous firearms on the vehicle. The fears to
Oh, no,
capture
this is the same one. Okay,
community-
never mind. Never mind. My bad. Anyway, so of course, saying the line that he was known ahead of time to the FBI, because of course he would be. Like, he's an insane person who's been making threats and obviously related to somebody who has an FFL SOT and access to all of these firearms. So now we get to get through all of the social media of these people and just the absolute insane collection that they possessed. So we have tranny stickers on their Daniel Defense rifle. I think
it's a Colt with
that's
a
a
DD
Colt?
rail.
And then that's the a Colt with a DD
Scar,
rail, and then
that's
you
a
have
Scar.
Scar and just a collection of all sorts of goodies in terms of handguns. Lots of cool stuff, I imagine.
So
Here's more pictures.
Louis Vuitton bag, just because it's expensive.
Is it? Where's the Louis Vuitton bag? Oh,
Above
that.
the guns.
Okay, see, I'm
Yeah.
not a fashion guy. I don't recognize this type of stuff. To me, a bag is a bag is a bag. I can't be bothered trying to remember all this stuff. Here's some other pictures of, yeah, so that is the DD Riz 2 rail, very tranny coated now, with the M2 and a full box of 50 cal. And you also see in the background weird, or not weird, I guess. It's just Lego figure sets. These are
Like-
the Lego lifestyle sets, right?
Another thing, I posted it in the thread, but there was also like a link, with a hand of full of just black tipped AP.
Yes, I have that. I will get to that eventually. Here, you can see just a high res that they posted of them shooting the M2.
So it is indeed a real gun, not a
Yes.
prop.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just something that looks the part. It actually is capable of doing it. And he did have it, and he had that one in his car at the time of arrest. Is that correct?
Yes, where it's broken down into the pieces,
Yeah.
So it comes in
So you can easily
the M2 comes in
transport
4
it.
pieces. Your barrel, receiver, ammo, and tripod or mount, and then you have those 2 pieces visible in the evidence floor.
All right. And then now this account, the Fed Boy Weird account. Which one is this? Because this is where it's hard for me to track.
So the Howletts, more to, I believe, the Julie Howlett, but I believe they also might have shared the same account. I can't tell the difference between the two. They're both fucking crazy. Is that there was a first account, as far as I'm aware, called Howlett Made, and then there was a posting guns, posting all this stuff, getting into arguments and threats towards others, and starts freaking out, deletes it, and then creates another alt account or secondary account called Fed Boy Glow Ops. There was also another account created which was trying to imitate me and then trying to basically steal my image and then try to say unhinged shit, which I did not like.
Well, right. We'll get into that. So this is one of them saying, I am government man, come from the government. The government has sent me, which is funny because it has all of the markings of a Fed op, just an insane collection of firearms that these people somehow acquired. All the strange markings that go along with it, being known to the FBI ahead of time. And then, of course, being terrible, disgusting degenerates online. So this is from that same account saying, okay, and the only good fash is ... Well, with a picture of a dead Charlie Kirk. Another one Charlie Kirk approved, with him being photoshopped, giving 2 thumbs up while getting shot. Now, this one, this this is the other one.
Yes, that is the husband of the arrested individual.
And this one's not trans?
Is
They're
this
both
individual
trans.
would this individual claimed to be intersex, like Klinefelter syndrome, but I think both of them are transgender individuals that change their name and try and have a female identity.
Right. So we got 2 retarded gay dudes saying
With
whatever the heck
with a sudden
this-
influx of over $1 million from what the lead theories are.
Well, right, and so that is for the house that they purchased in the area?
House they
Is that correct?
purchased. There was one car which was a white Mini, like new Mini Coupe, Mini.
We'll
like
get to that,
Countryman SUV. Another one was the I assume is the blue Subaru WRX. So both of those are like pretty mid high end cars that are, especially if you buy them new.
Okay, so this is the person, and I think they're unpacking patches?
I don't know. I think
This is a lot of Amazon boxes.
Yes, a ton. So
Like an absolutely insane amount.
So there would be like these anarcho career patches, which very similar to like the ones Doll Squad use. So a variant on this sort of design. They have a bunch of it.
So here's just some other posts from them saying, when a pig gets shot on the highway, does it squeal? And then him posting unironically, yes, showing the policeman getting gunned down on the side of the road. So obviously just great individuals. Here's some more of their gun cabinet. And again, just a ridiculous collection of
Actually, you know what?
everything.
If you look at the top right, you see that chocolate chip AR-15. That is one of the guns that was like seized in the parking garage.
Okay, so this one here was on the guy at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, just an insane collection. Just ridiculous the amount of money that goes into a collection like this. And not to mention some of the more
M240,
special items. Oh, yeah.
the,
Well,
uh,
here's the
chat
black
message runway.
box.
The
Now,
chat
this one
message
here is
runway.
also interesting, right? Because the theory here is that what is behind this black box is a Type 97 assault rifle. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. The Chinese bullpup export version of the Type 95 bullpup, chambered in 5.56. Now, regardless of whether it's a semi-automatic rifle that was smuggled in from Canada or like a select fire one that comes from, God knows where, it was the same source as the Chinese biolabs. Regardless, it's a blatant violation of sanctions. And if that happened, and if someone has one in this country, a new Chinese-made firearm with a rifled barrel, it is you're going to get blurry records.
Well, right, because it is not legal to import. It's not legal to own. It was made before the ban, so there's no possible way you can have it legally in the country right now, right? There are no legal Type 97s in the U.S. right now, outside of maybe a few edge cases.
Yeah, outside of, like, say, in the hands of the Defense Intelligence Agency for testing and evaluation of enemy weapons.
Right, exactly.
But
yeah,
with
so
this
if
sort of
this
stuff-
person who has an FFL SOT is in possession of one of these firearms, that is they're both hopefully going to jail forever, which might honestly be the best, like their paradise, right? All of the anal rape you could imagine for the rest of your life. It's like,
in a caveat to that, in a male prison.
well, yeah, of course. Well, they're both male, so they don't care. I'm just curious, yeah, because it seems like you have to have pretty insane connections to even acquire one illegally. Like if I, John Campbell, was like, dude, I'm going to go and illegally acquire a Type 97, I don't even know where I'd start. Right? Like you have to, or you'd have to know somebody though, right? You'd have to know somebody that has like import pieces or has a connection. It's like, I can get you one from Mexico or something like that. Like you have to know somebody. And I don't even know where I'd begin if I were trying to do that.
And here's the scary thing is that if they're willing to like break the law and have this sort of crap, what other things could be out there? Live grenades, rockets,
sure,
bunch of other stuff.
Oh, I mean, they already had like a ton of full autos and elite, just straight up firearms you're not allowed to have. So nothing would shock me, right? Nothing at all would shock me. Here's some additional pictures from their armory. Again, it gets quite repetitive with just the sheer volume of stuff that they own.
So the MP5 SD, the M16 with the M203, those things that are on the evidence floor are also in the house.
Right, correct.
Mosin Nagant, a Kami classic.
Dude, is that a 34L or a 17L? That is a long slide on that Glock. I got the long.
Not too sure, but yeah, like this is from this, like this has been known for months about this crazy person, like the having the stuff, making threats.
Well, this is what they posted on their social media.
Yeah, and just further confirms about this stuff, like being in connection with like the Vegas incident Saturday. And also look at the pin above the magazine flap.
Right here, right? Yep. That's another one of those defend equality patches with the tranny flag. Yep. 100%. And of course, Keltec L question mark. Sad day for Keltec fans. Although I still want to get an RDB or an RFB, whichever one it is.
So
now here is the second account. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the alt account of this individual. So there'd be, as far as I'm aware, 3 Twitter accounts associated with this. The 2 of them, this Howlett made one, as well as a Fedboy Glow Ops one, would be self-deleted due to this individual posting like very erratic and crazy tweets before self-deleting. And then there's another one that was just trying to imitate me, take my Twitter profile avatar, take my Twitter banner, and then try and imitate me and say unhinged shit. And I really didn't like that.
Well, yeah, no, that is insane trolling.
Yeah.
Now Sean says, imagine owning felony equipment and being a known threat, high visibility, and still keeping that stuff in your home. Remember, all of this stuff was known, and the police and feds did nothing about it until there was a undeniable active threat situation where they're about to commit a mass casualty, right? Like they raided Dugan's home over a joke that he made on a video, right? Whereas this person, these people, these dudes can own all of this stuff, be known problematic individuals, and never get a raid until they are actually on tape saying that they will commit a mass casualty event. Right.
Here's a assault on wounds. Dugan does not have bail. This individual has $500,000 bail.
Correct. Yeah. Dugan was denied bond because he's a threat to his community, even though, again, he has no criminal history, no record of mental illness, never threatened anyone for any reason. This guy crashes out to his gay Troon lover and is like, because of you, 100 people are going to die, and has the possibility of bail and parole, or bond, I should say.
Now, do you want me to get to the connection with deranged paramilitaries, or let's hold that to later?
Well, let's get through this for a minute, because again, here we have the trooned out husband. Not arrested, talking about
with a 30. That's not the 50 caliber. That is a 30 caliber Browning pointed at the front door.
That looks like 50 cal. Am I crazy?
No, because it has a different sight setup, and also looks like the Army Navy variant of the 1917 Browning, the kind you mount on aircraft, like flying aircraft.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, this person saying, "Holy self docs, I know who you are. LMFAO, pride cometh before a fall." Truk. And this guy responds pridefully, implying I should be afraid of the folding chair right and their minions when I've been begging them to show since 2018 and none of them ever have the stones to throw down. It's like, dog, do I need to show you your husband again? Like, as soon as you actually meet any real force, like, this is exactly what you sound like, bro.
No, dude, no. Okay, I'll get out, please.
So again, as soon as you actually meet any real force, that is exactly what you sound like.
Sounds like a deeper voice Bart Simpson.
Yeah, so that's this guy. Now there's another account, or this account, just a little deeply unserious Pandora's box of fun. Honorary member of the certified pretty ass Neba gang decree. Blah blah blah, weirdo. And then there's this account, 2A for all and not much else. Now, this is the same person or one of them. We're not exactly sure which one this is, correct?
Yes, and a threat to like hit up my house or one of the houses.
Exactly.
So I have to redact that.
Right. No, totally fine. And then they're talking to you right here.
Yes.
This is to you.
So
saying They have your address and know you are former Army intel dude. They're planning on attacking your home in blank. Get your parents clear and contact FBI as I have. So they are like concerned trolling you here, saying that, hey, we know who you are, we know what you are, we know where you live, and we're gonna come kill you.
Yeah, and if I were to try and do a counter strike, where I'm not a warrior by any means, but I certainly have more constitution than these individuals, I'll be thrown in jail.
Oh, sure, of course. You will not get the same treatment as the other side.
But
Now,
if I
here
do
are
nothing, I could get mowed down by an RPG-7 or a 50 caliber machine gun.
dude. Okay, this is tragic. Okay, but just imagine getting a drive-by with an M2. Okay, so you've got the hood drive-bys with the switches, but these guys, it's a drive-by with an M2. Tragic, but kind of funny in terms of the comparison.
It'd be like Mexico difficulty.
Yeah. So here we have some of those Amazon boxes. Still not entirely sure what's in them, and you can see the patches that they are selling with some more stuff and or not an SBS, but whatever these are, and more pictures of the M2 or M19. F this dystopia with the gay colors, and you see more of the Legos in the background, just more proof that this is them. You see shark plushies and more weird patches, and you have the guy's name or the guy's last name right on the uniform there. What's this camo pattern? Gay?
It's kind of. It's U.S. Navy, but dyed pink.
Okay, gotcha. More of them actually out shooting. So this is my worm spoke a little too much and melted my handguards. This is one of their full auto firearms. I imagine they're just shooting it out in the desert, showing that they are in possession of full autos. They are actually out and using them. More pictures of the of the Amazon packages. I think they're saying that these are all patches, but that's like a million patches.
Yeah, do you sell those at all or no?
I've never sold patches.
Okay. Or
so
stickers,
I mean,
or merch. Or...
I don't know if you have to buy them in bulk, but this looks like many thousands of patches if that's what they did. So you wanted some dystopia stickers and patches, right? Zona is going to be so pissed. Zona
is a deranged individual in Arizona that makes Carl Cruzada look like a moderate.
Well, you know, whenever we're talking about these tranny groups, you don't need to lead with the fact that they're crazy. We just know.
But I mean, as an extraordinarily unhinged.
Llama patches? Not confirmed. Not confirmed llama patches. We're not sure about that one yet. Okay, don't spread any rumors. Now is this the same jacket that he died?
No, this is like a British jacket. Like there was like a huge eBay listing of like various parkas and stuff being bought and then like defiled with like dye. So
this looks like a more effeminate Michael Jackson, like Michael Jackson on HRT. Am I crazy?
This looks like if you take Kyle Broflovsky, aged him 40 years, and then give him eyeliner.
Yeah, exactly. Black nails, eyeliner. Yeah. Don't worry, we're going to hear his voice in just a second too, and it's exactly what you would expect. Now, same account here.
Second. Gotta take a leak.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I'll get to some of your guys' support real fast while Bucky is doing the business. Appreciate you guys all hanging out for this special event. But here we have a bunch of 50 cal black tip or 30 cal black tip. So, yeah, very cool. Them planes aren't going to do much good though. Fasci. At some point, dude, if your enemies are just calling you like evil fascists, I've been called a Christo-fascist. At some point, it's like, you know what? That's kind of a cool label. Christo-fascist kind of goes hard, so I'll just take it. Like, yeah, sounds good to me. I keep screaming.mp4 member for 10 months says happy belated 4th of July, Mr. Trip and chat. It's not belated because you're early. If it was like the 5th or 6th, you could say belated, but that's not the proper use of that word. But thank you for the membership. Appreciate it, sir. Spec for 5 says, genuinely, W2F is that setup, and why is there a Vietnam era Starlight scope on a Hellion? Man, the Hellion with a Starlight scope has got to be the most unusable piece of garbage imaginable. Like trying to take a shot with that has got to be miserable. And the point of aim and the height of her bore, I mean, I guess you're only using it at like 100 yards, so height of her bore isn't that big of a deal, but still. And the Hellion's a pig to begin with, right? All right. Cicero for 2 says that photo screams fed, just weird optics, etc. Yeah, and the M2. Thank you, Cicero. Dill Weed for 5 says, what are the odds they were a focus trip viewer? Probably not. I would guess not. And Milspec Max for 2 says, augurs stay losing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of an L for everyone. Bullpups, M16, them 4s, belt feds, Ma Deuce lovers, like, we're all taking L's today, okay? I don't think anyone's escaping this. Thank you, Milspec Max. Jay Tatro for 5 says, I don't think that's an M2. It looks more like an M2A1 with that handle. They came out in the late 2000s. I'm not sure. I'm not a aficionado of the different belt fed systems. I didn't get that autism and never had to use one. So Peter Parker for 5 says, average trench grenade fan. That's not very nice. That's not nice. Grug Holabunga for 2 says, you would not be...
You'll never be an active shooter.
No, you'll never be an active shooter. Oh my gosh. You'll never be a real shooter. That's good. Thank you, Greg Holabunga. Peter Parker for 5 said, did they censor God, but none of the profanity? Crazy LMAO. I think they censored the F word.
No, I think they censored the husband's name.
Oh, maybe it was the husband's name. I see. Okay. That's fine. Thank you, Peter Parker. Lightspore for 5 says, Bucky did a objectively good thing, and now I'm confused since I don't know how to make this into a funny. Uncommon Bucky W? Yeah, listen, okay, Bucky's been taking the heat from these retards. You know, I take a little bit of heat from the Carl Casarda crowd, like every now and again, but I never interact with them. I don't like make it my life's goal to hunt them down and catalog their insanity. Bucky puts himself into it, and so he's the guy getting death threats. He's the guy getting these guys, you know, trolling him, threatening him, doxing him, doing all the things that they do. So credit to Bucky for that. Thank you, Lightspore. Carver for 2 says, base GSB Magnum PI maxing shirt for summer carry.
Max Pen carry.
Yeah, Max Payne carry. Thank you, Carver. Grug Holbunga for another 5 says, why can't they ever pick a cool name like Toe Tag or Morgue Meat? Yeah, I think Allison A. son is really funny when you think about it. Thank you, Grug Holabunga. It should be turned into corpse starch. St. John's Crusade for 5 says, it's not cope, it's demonic inversion of what God made in his image. It's very intentional. If it's not feminine, it's demonic outright. I think I agree with you. Let me pull up this photo again because it's funny. Where did it go? There's so many of these photos around. There it is. This is going to be the guy in the showers after dropping the soap. Thank you, St. John's Crusade. Cicero for 2 says, they are now, were. Well, unfortunately, they're still right side up for the time being. Thank you, Cicero. Spec for 2 says, the Torvor is the only bullpup they don't own, LMAO. Well, that's the thing. The bullpup, or the Torvor, is like, that's their gun. They would never, you know, soil their gun by giving them to their operatives, okay, to their, you know, psyops. They always use your guns against you. Thank you, Spec. Caddick for 5 says, finally caught a stream live, but I'm off to the bars to do chud things based, so I'll have to catch the VOD later. Have a great weekend. Christ is king. Christ is king. Thank you, Caddick. I appreciate you, sir. Bojangles for 5 says, I also heard this thing was a trust fund baby. Maybe this is just a case of progressive daddy's money gone too far, but I don't think we have confirmation about where the money actually came from. One over on Ko-Fi real fast from Subardic Psycho saying, Looney Trooney plans mass shooting, epic fail, faggot. Scary though, the scary thought though, if he was competent, wasn't a Troon, with those weapons, he could have done some seriously bad stuff. I agree. Now, an M2 in the wrong hands with somebody who's actually competent in planning and execution could absolutely cause a insane amount of harm very, very quickly. All right, back to where we were. Let me see if I can find my spot again. Okay, here we go. So this is the black tip ammo and a lot of black tip ammo on links from this guy saying, stack up or shut up. Them plates aren't going to do much good though, you fashy frick. Not very nice. Now, Bucky, I don't know about you, okay, but I get called all sorts of random names. Crypto-fascist, Christo-fascist, fascist, all of the time. At some point, you just have to, like, accept the label from these sickos, right? Because they're just, nobody can actually define the terms. It's just nonsense that they make up to like
I thought
belittle you
it
or
was
something.
I thought it was slang for like Democrat 40 years ago.
Oh, dude, yeah, you're kidding me. That's how far the Overton window has shifted. But anyways, that's the stuff that they were piling up. Now here is them again quoting at you saying, if this is your boy, he can come speak directly. I have all the dirty details on the terrorists after him. And, since they treated me like dog crap and I'm not on the left, I'm more than willing to have a good sit down. Not sure what it'll do, the fucker, since DHS already has it all, with the smiling emoji. Now, what do you interpret this as? Because they were doing this all to you, of course.
Well, I think is like, it's like more of like, yeah, we want to kill this guy, but I disagree with the methods for it, but I want to accomplish it a different way. So I'm going to go splinter myself off. That's what I think
Right.
it is. Because like this individual, like right now in the media, the gun owner, the husband of the person who got arrested, is trying to portray themselves as a clean individual. They are not.
Right. I don't think that they're a very sane individual. Every day, no days off. You losers better F a gun up with paint today, I'm sure. Posting with their Uzi and the black fingernail paint. What's wrong? Can't match a USP compact. Let's up the ante, shall we? Transferable machine gun says you lose. And again, this is the guy saying holy self docs. All right, now for the big reveal, okay, because we haven't actually showed what the shooter looks like, and you'll be shocked to know that it is once again one of the most hideous creations known to man. It's just a dude on a lot of drugs and SSRIs and probably a concoction of other pharmaceuticals that turns them into a androgynous monster willing to do Satan's will on this world. So this comes from BX. Now, BX does really good work sometimes. All right. She's also a little crazy. She's also primed to crash out at times at different people. Like she and Ben Steger got into it a while ago. But when she's on, she's on. Okay. She does good work. Anyways, not a drill. An averted mass shooting in Las Vegas today was linked to a radical transgender to a community, which all of that stuff just goes hand in hand. Any transgender to a community just turns into, how do we kill people? How do I kill people who disagree with me? Like, essentially, I don't know of any other transgender group that hasn't evolved into, how do I kill all the people who disagree with me and then claim that they're the evil people? From Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's Allison Howlett, a male MTF transgender, was apprehended before carrying out a suicide by cop mass shooting. Over 50 firearms were confiscated, including a fully automatic rifles and firearms equipped with grenade launchers. Howlett made many concerning expos over the past several months, indicating their desire to kill police officers and other perceived enemies. Just last week, I called out Rolling Stone magazine for featuring YZY, that fat retard, right? As a anarcho-communist and radical trans activist, just pedophile, essentially. As a gun rights hero, I also called out YZY's associate, A Better Way to a pedophile protector. I believe that these individuals are accelerationists, provocateurs, masquerading as trans right activists. Partially true. They celebrate political violence like the assassination of Charlie Kirk and use extreme rhetoric and propaganda to incite their followers to commit crimes and acts of violence against the oppressors, such as police and ICE. Yes, it's more sinister than that. They believe that like Charlie Kirk was the fascist fist against the oppressed, right? And so the death of Charlie Kirk was like a big win for them, right? When Charlie Kirk was a moderate, right? He was a 90s Republican, maybe that's as far as I would go. But if you're anywhere traditional, anywhere anti-LGBTQ plus in modern society, you're so far to the right of Charlie Kirk. And that's like half the country, or at least like 30% of the country, that they just want to outright kill. And remember, they would celebrate your death. Their orbit attacked me when I made posts warning that this type of rhetoric inspires mass shootings and other acts of targeted violence in their community. Through Howlett's X account has been nuked already. Searching his handle shows he was part of a radical transgender faction of the 2A community. I have long believed that transgenders and their allies are being radicalized as part of a strategy to accelerate the collapse of the United States through violent revolt. I think that that's probably true, but I think they're just a very, very, very small part of that play. And I think personally that trannies and other people who are easily radicalized because of their reduced mental capacity or mental illness, whatever you want to call it. And so in some ways, I do think that it is tragic that they are being used and abused to foment these issues in the American society, right? For lack of a better phrase. So I think that they are being used and pushed into doing these things because one, they're on a lot of drugs, two, they're, weakened in terms of their mental capabilities. And so they're very easy to radicalize by nefarious groups who are using them as a form of not soft power, but hard power to affect change in society. Because listen, whenever a revolution happens, like these guys are the first to go. Like they're not actually useful to whatever regime wants to take power. They're useful in terms of causing confusion and destroying cohesion, but they're not actually useful in the long run, right? It's like the Bolshevik Revolution in the 1920s, right? Not going to work out well for these types of people. These people get thrown away almost instantaneously. Anyways, this averted mass shooting is just more evidence of that being the case, more in thread. And I don't know if there's more that we want to go into this, Bucky, or if you have something else that you want to add so far.
I mean, no, more or less down there is just very similar observations to mine. At least, but I am given proper credit for that. But there was like some connections between like additional crazy people with this like transgender sphere.
100%. I mean, well, that's the thing. We've been commenting on them for years now. I mean, we've talked about the Doll Squad. We've talked about Pink Pistols. We've talked about some of these other tranny militias and their rhetoric that they've used online. We've talked to the SRA guys, and then they got kicked out for even talking to us, right? So we've done some keeping tabs on these people here as well. Now, I think this is just... Go ahead.
Yeah, they do not like when they're held accountable to their actions, when they get reported on their violent behavior and deplorable behavior, and then they want to just bury the truth in anyone who wants to speak it out loud.
Oh, well, they hate any sort of... It's not necessarily even accountability. They love attention, but they hate anyone that will push back or challenge their worldview, right? So it's like a paper tiger. They'll talk all the tough game about killing people, about taking power, about removing people, bash the fash, punch a Nazi, whatever it might be. But as soon as they get any pushback, they just fold instantaneously. It's like a cockroach running from the light. They just hate it. The wrong type of exposure for them, anything that's not positive, and it happens. There's a lot of overlap with people in the gun industry as well. Anything that's not positive, that you don't reinforce their worldview, you instantly get thrown away.
What's really funny, I think we might have like skipped it and went to something else, but during the public brief by Las Vegas Metro PD, the undersheriff, this 3-star gentleman, he was talking about how they are two males in a same-sex marriage. I think
I think we did miss
you missed
that
the best
clip.
part for last.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, they are two males. We believe they're two males in a same-sex marriage, even though they're both transgender. We haven't done a genital check yet, but we can get a pseudo genital check here, okay? Because this is the phone call between Fox 5 and the husband. So that's the one who made the phone call reporting that his husband, his boyfriend, this guy here, he makes the phone call saying, "Hey, I think that my gay retarded boyfriend is going to cause a mass shooting. You should go do something about it." So also from BX, new details on the averted Las Vegas mass shooting makes things even crazier. Allison Howlett, male to female spouse, just a dude. Julie claims, do we know his real name?
I can't individually confirm, but I can pull up a name and share it right now. It's in the thread. It was a QE from screenshot.
See. Maybe I missed it. What's his actual name?
I need to scroll up.
I don't see it.
It would be, there was like a queue would be, so the arrested individual, Allison Scarlett Howlett, which is a legal name I dug up, would apparently, but I can't confirm, Michael Joseph Self.
Okay.
Self. And then the Julie Nicole Howlett, which is also a legally registered name, was, as I say before, I cannot confirm, but apparently a Jess Colin Jacks
Gotcha.
or Jockeys.
Okay, so anyways, this Julie character, going by their legal name right now, claims to be a firearms dealer who legally owned the insane collection of weapons found in the would-be shooter's car and in their home. And again, they have to be an FFL SOT. Like, there's no way they could acquire all that stuff outside of government means if they were not an SOT. And also, they would have to have an insane amount of money to acquire all this. It was Julie who called 911 on Allison after he threatened to commit suicide by cop and go on a mass shooting at the Las Vegas Strip. According to Julie, the husband, Allison had been threatening to go on a mass shooting since at least 2024 and had been in multiple altercations where he had grabbed a gun and pointed it at himself and made a threat. That is what we like to call the most sane transgender individual. I get into a fight, I'm going to kill myself. Which honestly, I'm going to kill myself is more of a woman coded thing. Okay, so maybe there's a little credence there, but I'm going to kill 100 other people. That's very male coded. That's a male coded crash out. I'm going to kill myself. That's what women will threaten to do. They'll never actually do it. But killing other people, that's a male coded thing. That's the difference. Henderson police responded to the couple's residence 4 times for these threats. Really? You can have this insane collection of firearms and have police visit you 4 times for threatening to kill yourself and other people and not be like mentally adjudicated unfit. Right? That sounds insane to me. Like I have a family member who went through the process of for a very brief time being put into a hospital, right? A psychiatric hospital. And so because of that, it was like a major fight to get like your gun rights back and stuff like that for something infinitely more minor than this, like so minor, kind of ridiculous that they ever went, right? So because of that, you can do this though multiple times, have police called on you and never get a court order to have these people checked out by a psychiatrist, or just some other stay put in place where they have to prove that they're mentally well to have these things. Seems simple to me. Anyways, 4 times. If the FBI doesn't come arrest me, there is going to be a mass shooting one day. You're going to be the reason hundreds of people lose their lives. That threat was made in January of 2024, 2.5 years ago. That's how long this person has been on the radar of police and FBI.
Not just them, but also paramilitaries they associate with that are violent.
Well, of course, but this is the perfect type of individual for these paramilitaries. Honestly, all of the paramilitaries or the other tranny militia groups that this person was a part of or knew of are honestly probably sad because they just lost one of their biggest arsenals.
Yeah, well, at least it's now in a police evidence locker.
Yeah, it's way better in a police evidence locker than in some sort of tranny militia. So yeah, I think it's a huge win.
I don't care if it gets shredded. I just don't want it in the hands of lunatics.
Well, listen, I know that some people have an emotional attachment to like the material possessions themselves, but an M2 is better shredded than in a tranny's hands pointed at your kid's school, right? Allison was still placed on legal mental health hold just a few days ago, and still police did nothing about him living in the house where he and his spouse, who were radical transgender extremists, had been stockpiling weapons and posting online about killing cops and revolting against our anti-trans government. See, now that part's insane to me. So they did put a mental health hold on the insane person. Well, they're both insane, but on the most insane one that's been making threats. But they allowed them to stay in the same house as like $1 million worth of firearms. Right? Because I'm pretty sure that's not cool. I maybe I'm incorrect, but like felons and people who are prohibited persons, they can't be in the same place as firearms, right? Am I crazy about that?
I don't know the legalities of it, but it's also NFA items as well, like numerous.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, so like in Dugan's bond hearing, they had attempted to say like, listen, we'll get rid of all the firearms, we'll take them everywhere else, so there won't be any NFA items, won't be anything anywhere, where Dugan can have access to them or something like that. And that was still a no. So I feel like it's kind of like a given that, hey, if you have some sort of mental health order making you a prohibited person, or you're a felon or whatever it might be, that, yeah, obviously you're not allowed to stay in a house with millions of dollars of firearms, right? According to the legal system, right? Not saying that that's a moral thing.
And the thing is, if Julie is getting a very light slap, if not being absolved of any sort of punishment whatsoever, despite the overwhelming amount of evidence that's shown tonight, It's either the system is willfully negligent, malicious, or that he is an informant that is protected as some sort of concession for all of this.
Now that might be good because again, these people are paper tigers. So if you can get the hubby, the gay dude, well, they're both the gay dudes. If you can get the hubby to turn state's witness on all of the militias or all of the people that they're in bed with, literally and metaphorically, like maybe that's actually a good outcome. Because I mean, it's obvious that they've committed a ton of crimes, right? If they have a illegal Type 97 sitting in the closet, like that's 10 years right there. Congratulations, so that they both need to be strung up on whatever charges they can sling together. But, if I'm playing like a more utilitarian card here, maybe we just use the hubby to max out what we can get rid of in terms of evidence on the other militias in the scene, so to speak. Troon informant, just like Tyler Robinson's boyfriend. Coincidence? Clearly not. Yeah, I forgot about that whole debacle as well. There's just a lot of these people connected to left-wing violence. It seems like almost all of the left-wing violence that we've seen of late is all tranny, insane weirdos. Almost like it goes hand in hand. So anyways, placed on house where he and his spouse were radical transgender extremists. And now the media wants us to believe that Julie is innocent. Why would anyone believe that narrative? This is a huge failure on Las Vegas police and on the FBI. If they were involved, Julie needs to be federally investigated. I agree. And now this is the hubby. This is this retard. Let me pull up a good picture of him. This is this guy on the phone. So picture this face and this voice. All right.
She came in with a gun, so she had pulled the trigger. She was literally going to kill me. And she took off. I ran outside. I had the gun still in my hand. I had unloaded it, and I was shouting as I was going down the driveway, "No, you can't leave. You can't do this." And then I ran back inside and called the police.
Julie told police Allison took off in Julie's car that was full of guns and called 911. Police say officers tracked the car to the parking garage and Howlett refused to get out. She was eventually tased and taken into custody. Police say she was sitting on top of a gun. The guns that police found, were they your guns or Allison's guns?
They were my guns.
All of them?
All of them.
The arrest reports.
Okay, actually, this is funny. Central Sand's defense, are you in chat? That actually sounds a little bit like your voice. Like if you were trying to impersonate a female, Ben, that actually sounds a little bit like your voice. I'm going to need to figure out where you were on a certain day. Okay? I don't know if he's in chat right now, but it kind of sounds like his voice a little bit.
Said 22 of the guns found in the car belonged to Julie. Julie tells me she's a gun dealer and was in the midst of transporting the guns out of state, which is why her car was packed. However, Julie tells me Saturday was not the first time Allison made threats.
LPVO enjoyers, roasted. Boom. Killed in the streets. Cringy Aero Precision FDE jobs, boom. Roasted. Killed in the streets. Tragic.
It's been going on for a very long time, and I have been calling and reporting and just nothing was getting done.
Allison's arrest report says Henderson police were at their house just days before and put Allison on a legal 2000 hold for a mental evaluation. But her threats went back to 2024.
You're gonna be the reason hundreds of people lose their lives.
Henderson police confirmed to me they responded to the house 4 times, but did not say exactly which dates. Victoria Saha, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
Like you can't get a DV call without somebody getting arrested, right? Isn't that a thing? Like if you get a domestic violence call, like you get arrested no matter what,
No,
they
it's
take
like-
you out of the situation.
Yeah, because I'd say like isn't like someone who would be successfully like, or they they declare themselves as guilty regarding DV, they're disqualified from purchasing firearms or possessing them.
Well, yeah. So the only misdemeanor that disqualifies you from firearm purchasing is a domestic violence misdemeanor. So that's the one like thing that you have to check on your 4473 is, yeah, I'm not a felon, and also I've never been convicted of a misdemeanor domestic violence, right? But regardless of that, I'm just saying, I don't know if the person has been arrested. They've responded to his house 4 times, but I would think that if you get called on a DV, you get arrested regardless. That's what I've been told, because I know people are like a woman will just say something, you get arrested, like, you can't talk your way out of it, like, you're going to jail for the night, and then, you get bailed out, and even if nothing comes of it, somebody still goes to jail regardless.
Yet in this situation, who'd be the woman in this incident, or the
Uh,
how does that
well,
work?
okay, so is it so cringe and gay that it loops around to being based? Because think about it, okay, if they're both trannies, they're both gay dudes pretending to be lesbians, is this adding to the lesbian domestic violence statistics?
Depends on the source.
So is this men beating women? Is this based, or is this women beating women, which is just stereotypical? Or is this just bro on bro violence? Like, I don't know. Okay, there's way too many layers for me to unpack here. The lying one is the woman.
Which
True.
one?
Yeah, but they're
one?
both pretending. It's the Spider-Man meme when they're like, "Wait, which one of you is the man here?" No, neither of us. We're both females. They're pointing at each other. Really, dude. Ah, man. Sometimes I do feel bad for police officers, right? Because could you imagine being the guy who shows up at this house and there's just two Looney Tunes characters playing dress up, yelling about how the other one is hitting them or threatening them,
You
and
know,
you're like,
how will I go home after my shift and not get blown up with an RPG?
well, that too. It's like these guys. You walk in, you see their Lego collection and the M2 sitting in on the rug in the middle of their living room, and you're like,
Or like
this isn't right.
or Las Vegas Metro PD, like go like their SWAT unit like evaluates the situation. We're like, fuck this, we're not going to do it.
Yeah. Mitzvot Looney Troons. Yes. Vandalay says, just take us in and try to keep going. I guess, man. After a while, in some of these metropolitan areas, it just has to all blur together, right? It has to. So now, insane person being an insane person. Thank you for that, St. John's Crusade. Very based of you. But Allison, sure, says, stated that everyone is out to get him and are setting him up. Documents obtained by Channel 13 offer new insight into the events leading up to Henderson residents' arrest with an arsenal of firearms. Now, if we click on this link, is it going to be anything useful in here? So the woman arrested was the man arrested as part of Las Vegas counterterrorism investigation, told the investigators he was being doxxed, according to documents obtained by Channel 13 on Wednesday. Now, curious here. Okay, so you were not involved with them, but you were interacting with them on Twitter a little bit. Do you think that you partially led up to the Troon going nuclear here and saying, I'm going to kill everyone because I got Special Agent Bucky on the case and he's going to dox me to the world and I've got to get back at him before?
No, because the thing is, everything would be one-way communications. I get shit sent to my business email account. I get shit sent to my Twitter and DMs. I just straight up ignore it.
Okay, so you never responded to them, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I received it, but I
working on
don't
this.
respond. Like,
I got
the
you.
closest
Okay.
thing I did was just call out the paramilitary they were part of. And if you see like that individual, like that obese individual or overweight individual shooting the machine gun or the Zastava marksman rifle, that was one of the militia members.
Oh, let me pull that back up just because it's been so long and there are so many pictures here. It's hard to keep track of them all. Where is it? Oh, please tell me I didn't lose it. There are so many pictures, just so people are aware of like what militias we're having to deal with here and how scary or not scary they are.
So it would be the subcell of the subgroup of Stonewall Underground, the one based in Nevada. That would, I believe, is the is a cell leader of that particular region.
This is the cell leader?
I believe so. There was also in an older GSB video I've uploaded on that group is that one of them was shooting an Uzi. I don't know where the Uzi came from. It's an automatic Uzi, came from them. Another one was an M249 scene, and I don't know if that was a machine gun or like the semi-automatic commercial variant. Well, it confirms it's them.
Leads them to buffets, eating the food stores, cell feeder, true. Not the cell leader, the cell feeder. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, guys, I know that they talk a big game on Twitter and they say they're going to, rape, murder, and kill you and whatnot, but these people are actually pathetic in real life. All right. Howlett arrested, 36 was arrested on Saturday. Let's see, Howlett's husband / male partner. Let's see. Really? So Howlett's wife or husband or person. So this is the Julie character. Really? You're going to shoot the cops? It's called suicide by cop, girl. You wouldn't get it. Do you want me to go away? So you're not going to shoot it out with the police? No, I'm not. They're going to shoot me dead. Do you want me to leave or not? I'll go get a hotel. As soon as my money runs out, they will kick me out and the cops will shoot me dead. And then again, if the FBI doesn't come arrest me, I'm going to kill hundreds of people and it's going to be your fault. The morning Howlett was arrested, the husband claimed the couple got into an argument. Howlett put a pistol to his own head, which his husband forcibly removed from his hand. Howlett left and took his husband's car without his permission, the report states. Howlett's husband told the police he believed Howlett knew the car was loaded with firearms and he called. So why are they leaving like all of these firearms in the car? Was it just coming back from a range trip or something like that? Because that is a lot of money.
If there was like murder suicide in the home, then I wouldn't have to like deal with this dread. But here we are.
Dude, true. If they would just do us the decency of unaliving themselves, we would never have to deal with any of this nonsense. But I don't know, right? It's crazy. If I had $250,000 in cash, I wouldn't leave it sitting in my driveway, right? That seems insane to me.
You don't have to work for it. I mean, the theory is that
husband,
the gun owner's mother, like willed a historic property worth like $1.5 million. It gets sold. That cash was used to like buy all the shit at once. So new cars, a shit ton of guns, and a house.
Yeah, I mean, an insane amount of stuff. So let's see. Anyways, after the arrest, let's see. He said denied making any threats and stated he just took the vehicle to get away from the situation. Well, that's not. We have the reports. He also denied wanting to hurt anyone or making any previous threats, telling police he was being doxxed and people on Discord were trying to get him in trouble by making up threats that he was going to commit a mass shooting. So it seems like he's trying to cover his tracks. He's like, oh yeah, people are claiming that I was going to commit a mass shooting when that totally wasn't part of my plans here. You're just trying to weasel your way out at the end.
And I'm not trying to target certain people that criticize my worldview.
Right, exactly. He stated everyone is out to get him and are setting him up. I mean, if you're part of, I literally do not want to know what goes on in these Troon militia Discord servers, right? It's got to be just the most gay, degenerate stuff imaginable. But if these are your friends and part of your community and they're legitimately trying to set you up, maybe you shouldn't be friends with these evil people. Like, I'm just saying, maybe if that's your team, maybe you picked the wrong side. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, there's a quote by Aesop that a man is worth the company he keeps.
Sure. Yep. 100%.
And look at that. Look at that. Look what we have here.
Anyways,
the floor just drops further.
Anyway, they does actually have somehow bond. It's only a $500,000 bond. Man, it's astounding to me that again, Dugan Ashley being denied bond for nothing, making a threat to no one, has his house raided, and they find nothing other than like components that can be found at your local hardware store. And he is sitting behind bars until trial, denied bond, a husband, a father, no previous criminal history, did not have the cops called on him 4 times for DV and domestic disputes, right? He is denied bond. But this tranny retard, I'm going to kill hundreds of people in your name, is given bond or the potentiality of bond. Insane. Also, true. Half of what Chud's bond is, even though they ended up denying Chud's bond. Still, it's disgusting. A criminal complaint outlines 35 charges, 35 separate charges, right? If you add up the amount of years, like Dugan's only getting charged with, I think, 80 years in total. I guarantee if you add up all the 35 charges, it's like hundreds of years, multiple hundreds of years. Criminal complaint outlines 35 charges against him, including multiple counts of grand larceny of a firearm, grand larceny of a vehicle, multiple counts of possession of a machine gun or silencer, and multiple counts of possession of a short-barreled rifle or shotgun. Of course. And each one of those weapons charges is 10 years, by the way. So it's just an insane amount on there. Now, following up on the gosh dang it. I have so many tabs. Anytime I click on them, I accidentally exit out of them because that's all that's actually visible. Let me go back to this one here. Okay. This person, the individual, the Allison character, we'll call him. is also the husband.
The husband.
The husband is a instructor for a gay firearms group. Am I getting this right?
Pink Pistols. So Operation Blazing Sword is a legal entity. Behind it, Pink Pistols would be the face, the media branding, all that stuff. So like with operate for this sort of entity, I have like the core like main thing is just teach gay people firearm safety, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But then the sub chapters of everything are not held accountable at all. Do stuff like celebrate Charlie Kirk assassination, be a John Brown Gun Club copy, or be the most degenerate sort of like what's it called? Polygamy, not polygamy.
Polyamorous.
Polycule. Yeah.
Polycules. Yep. Yeah, we'll get into that. But again, disgusting, degenerate people practicing to threatening to unalive people, all of this sort of nonsense. Peak Pistols is in Utah. They have a Utah branch because I remember talking about them in conjunction with the Charlie Kirk thing when that happened, because some of their members were celebrating the death, if I remember that correctly.
Kind of. So the individual behind that, Armia Fanayan, who is a Chinese Communist Party like asset or globalist asset, like with the UN and everything. Use the Pink Pistols name to basically create like a John Brown Gun Club chapter and like basically a communistic seed to basically have Chinese Communist Party funding to go into it through a Novell Royce Bingham. But then after like a few years or so, the had Pink Pistols like Central Pink Pistols was like, you're doing stuff that isn't part of our main charter. We don't want you as part of Pink Pistols. So then,
and I mean, they have to do that, and they should legally disavow this type of nonsense, right? They have to get away from this stuff.
They don't do it in any other places. They don't do it in Florida, which is the Miami Pink Pistols or Tampa Bay Pink Pistols is associated with that same militia that this individual is a part of, or is known to be a part of.
Now, what was the other one that was just outright calling for the death of everyone? It was an SRA club, wasn't it? Was it like Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, one of those?
I can't. There was a Minnesota SRA that wanted
Minnesota, that's the one, because the Minnesota one was like, and it was about PSR, because PSR made some like really normie take that was like, hey, I think that everyone should have rights to own guns and whatnot, even people I disagree with. And they were like, actually, go F yourself. We should kill you and everyone who disagrees with us. And it was like, whoa, calm down there, bros. Jeez.
And then the Donald Squad commander was like faking, it was like on a podcast, on transgender podcast, like saying, oh, I'm a champion of the Second Amendment, and then, or appear on NPR, and then like say it outright. Like, I totally agree and support the Minnesota SRA stance, and I want to also destroy the Second Amendment against those ideas.
Oh, of course. Yeah, the Second Amendment to these people. The Second Amendment, the Constitution to these people is merely a tool to destroy you. Like, getting rid of you is the end goal, right? So if they can use the Second Amendment, if they can use the Constitution to do that, they'll use it as protection against themselves and a sword against you. So who we are, Operation Blazing Sword is a grassroots organization dedicated to helping everyone, but especially queer people, become responsible firearms owner. If you think you may need a firearm for armed self-defense, but don't feel comfortable going to a shooting range or gun store by yourself, seek out our queer-friendly volunteer educators. Check all of their hard drives, okay? Demonstrate that gun owners do not hate LGBTQ people, citation needed, and in fact want them to be able to protect themselves from violence. I want them to not cause violence. How about that? Now, if we continue to go through these people's expos, because again, you just dropped so many screenshots in here. We just have more patches and flags. We have the Defend Equality tranny sticker. We have their, I don't even, what's the triangle patch? What does that mean?
It's a transgender, but has the center icon is that of an AR-15 bolt face.
Right.
The collar, the Uzi on the collar, I believe, is a Pink Pistols symbol.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but
anyways, they often identify them by this iconography. Okay, now getting into the Kiwi Farms thread, I have not had the chance to run through this stuff yet, so run me through this.
Oh well, they announced, like, goes over in the news, of course, due to it being transgender centric. Of course, they would like try and dig into it. This one, there was speculation that the arrested individual may have been married to an actual woman at one point, broken up, and then went crazy.
All right.
But at the
Interesting.
same time, ex-wife is the informant. I don't know who is ex-wife in this sort of context. It's
Well, ex-wife meaning not Julie, because they're currently married and residing together, meaning the person before Julie. And are we sure it's a real woman and not just another tranny? Right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right. None of that is set in stone. That's the
Right.
problem. It's like
Over
in
here, we do have
2026, if
the-
you go to meet somebody's husband or wife, you really have no idea until you actually see them in person.
Right. And then here we have the name theory as well as the money theory, which is the most plausible theory out there. This is something that I did not know of until like it was posted
Posted on the thread.
Right.
So for Allison Scarlett Howlett, traces back to the name Michael Joseph Self, age 36. The other person in that household, Julie Nicole Howlett, is connected via voter registration to the name Jesse Cullen Jocks, age 37. I'm not ready to phone book them 100%, but I'm pretty sure missing Jax sold a historic property his mother gifted him for $1.3 million a few years back. So that's where the money came from. They get gifted a property, sell it for 1.3 mil, and that funds their entire tranny weirdo lifestyle, which makes sense, right? There's no way that they could just afford all of this stuff on a normal like 9 to 5 job, if they even had any jobs whatsoever. Because you see their house, it's got all the Funko Pops, it's got all the useless trinkets, it's got an insane gun collection. They have like normal modern cars or whatnot. So unless they were like high end in the tech industry, I don't know how they would fund this insane, materialistic
Right.
lifestyle.
Because like $1.3 million is a lot of money at once for a span of like, like a few months. However, if there's a span of say, like for our own age and for our own lifetime, a good 30, 40 years, it's not a lot of money if you think about it, unless you put it smartly into investments, mutual funds, stocks, all
Well,
that stuff.
I mean, with a normal person, like that takes care of a couple decades, right? If you live at like 80K a year or even 100K a year, right? That's 13 years of living completely paid for if you don't make a singular dime, basically. And
Or you
that's
don't-
living comfortably for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you don't lose money through principals by mortgage or by car purchases or whatever.
Sure. Well, I mean, but even if you bought a house, the house would retain value and possibly even increase in value. So that actually, like if you buy, just useless trinkets that have no resale value, even a house or a car would retain some of that value over time. It's not a great store of value in terms of a car, but a house actually probably would be. I can see a scenario where he and his sweetheart, Mike, decide to troon out and live like LARPing commies in Henderson after his real estate deal, which seems plausible. I think we've got not one, but 2 troons here. And did they really name themselves after the Wolverine or after Wolverine? Very possible. And we have more of the pictures. There's just so many pictures of the guns that are in here. Here's more of the guy's Twitter account. Now, who is this responding to? That's my friend's girl. I'm married and ace, but nice try. Women posting things like these wonder why men consider them barely sentiment.
I forgot. It was just like a bunch of rapid fire deranged tweets. I decided to screenshot as much as I can before the account gets self deleted, and I got some of it, but not all of what I could see, so I couldn't piece it together as a full picture.
Now, explain this one to me. What am I looking at here? Estradiol valerate.
That is women's hormones that these individuals would inject themselves with.
So
that is also a Walther MPL submachine gun.
Oh, okay. So quite cool. But showing your estradiol, showing your HRT there, which is an odd flex. Here you have another Uzi pick, right? What is going on here? What's with the string everywhere too? Because some of these have some really weird.
I think it's like some sort of sex thing.
Oh wait, BDSM plus firearm stuff. I don't even want to know, bro. And just more images of firearms. Here's the wide shot of it. What do we got here? We got.
I zoomed into that. It turns out it must have been like a 37mm launcher. But
okay, so not a real M203.
But it could be rebarreled. I don't know.
Either way, it's sitting on a 416, so it's not like it's a cheap rifle. And then we have a Sig 516 up top. So it's not like these are inexpensive systems. You know, one at least has an EOTech on it. The other one has a SIG MSR, but it's, you know, as far as LPVOs go, a little cringe. Here's another one from this dude. Damn, I need Jasmine to work some magic on my hot mess. Dude, look at those eyeballs. Okay, that is not hot mess eyeballs. Those are like, that's the Satan picture, isn't it? That's just the
Certainly.
famous Satan painting.
This is what happens when you become the abyss, not just stare at it.
Let me do a side by side real fast. Where is that Satan eye picture? Let me see if I can find it. If it's not called that, what is the name of that painting?
I forgot. Maybe
It's
chat.
I know it's a very famous painting, but it's the same. It's the same. There it is. The fallen angel of Lucifer. There we go. That is just this image right here, is it not?
It does. Holy crap! Holy crap!
Yeah, that is actually just the same image. Anyways, let me go back to it. I lost my spot. Give me just a moment. Yeah, it's literally just this guy. Anyways, all right. So more random nonsense. How many GFM dollars do I need to collect to finally stop people from trying to harm me? LGBT people, 100.
Okay, now
106.4
I know
victimizations
about
per
it. This is
1,000.
like this is proof of conversation or engagement or relations with this individual called Zona,
Zona
which
guy?
I already mentioned. Yes, who flipped out at Carl Cressada because he reviewed or was given a digital night vision binocular by Hoplite Armor.
Really?
Yeah, and then
Hoplite's pretty right wing, isn't he?
yes, which is why Zona flipped out.
Okay, I see. So just getting something from Hoplite is enough for him to freak out. Is this the same account?
Yes, it is.
Just random screenshots here.
Yeah, I'm just maybe it was like for the profile and the banner and the
Right.
tag and everything. Like a lot of it is just disjointed because I ended up having to screenshot a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. I tried to put it in order, but the new ones that you dropped in there are just kind of haphazard. So
Yeah.
again, just more of the guns. What do we got? We got a regular
an
MP5,
Uzi or a
two.
Uzi or Carl Gustav or a Smith & Wesson 76, an MP5
Yeah.
and a Mac 10 and a 50
Jeez.
cal.
Well, yeah, of course, that one. In absolutely insane collection. We got some more photos that we've seen before. We've got the I mean, it's not terrible wall art, honestly, okay? Like having the soldiers with skulls on them isn't like the worst thing to have inside of your goon corner or your gun cave, but again, more insane gun collections. Looks like we got a CZ Bren of some sort and just a bunch of straight magazine BNTs, I want to say.
Yeah, those are all BNTs.
So there's like $3,000 a pop for each one of those, and then they blot out some of the photos, which I don't know if they're NSFW or just
No, I think it's just to hide engravings or to hide specific names.
identify
or,
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Or to prevent
let's see.
identification, especially of possibly legal stuff like the Type 97.
Right. Yep. Here we have just even more stuff. What is that shotgun up top? That's the old.
That's a Daewoo USAS 12.
Right, the USS 12. That's the one. Got a 50 with some really cheap looking scope on top. I would not trust a 50 with that scope on it. And then you got just again insane collection of random off firearms. Is that a KSG on the right? Is that what that is, or is that one of those?
I think it's the USTS 15.
Okay, so that's another one of those weird pump shotguns. And then again, that same Uzi that we saw, or the Mac that we saw earlier. Now, this is the gun range that I was, or not, the gun store that I actually went to in January in Las Vegas. Obviously, I don't think that we saw these people there. I don't think we were there at the same time. But me and a couple other guys from the Discord just hanging out, we went there and just, we're LARPing around, just looking for stuff to do. And we were coon fingering all the cool guns that all the shops had. So this was where they were doing a lot of their business and transfers. Is that the thought process here?
Yes, like this person would specifically mention about this gun store. I believe post pictures in the Twitter account inside the gun store, as well as left using that email address, that Gmail address that was seen on like the Pink Pistols page on a Google review for that gun store. So let me just actually like pull up Google review for that gun store and see if
Yeah, do it, please. No problem. I'll grab some of these super chats while you pull that up. Mitspot TV for 2 says Fozoid Jack, something like that. Yeah, the Fofoid. There's got to be a word for that. Thank you, sir. Grinder admin for 5 says, well, they were definitely paid subscribers to Trans Grenade. Hey, actually, that's what we need. We need to pull up their Grinder accounts because I'm pretty sure that would give us a huge contact list, if you know what I'm saying, for who they might have known. Thank you, Grinder admin. Appreciate that. Over on Rumble, Jarrett for 2 says, very glad that the Nothing Ever Happens crew was right once again. We will have to watch tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone. Christ is king. God is good. Thank you very much, Jarrett. Yeah, I mean, no, the people of Las Vegas are very lucky that they did not turn a casino into mincemeat, right? Because, I mean, again, if they were competent, that is an arsenal capable of an insane amount of damage. Boondocks Balloon Knot for 5 says, I am incredibly dark right now, but man Q for a thirst diastram. Dude, you are so welcome, Boondocks Balloon Knot. Probably getting blown out right now, how drunk you are. St. John's Crusade for $20.
I like to wear one around my neck because I'm gay.
Says, cops don't treat women on man or woman on woman domestic violence seriously. Also, we need some jade toe money for this jade coded situation. Can't believe the FBI has been sitting on this for 2 years. Yes, I'll get you jade toe money in just a second. Over on Ko-Fi, the Kike Rapid Jeet Slave for 3 says, somebody out there had that little freak ass up and screaming. Yuck. I did not want to think about that, Mr. Jeet Slave, but thank you for posting that on Ko-Fi. Art Vandalay on Ko-Fi says, getting too late for me. Statistically, at least one Focus Trip subscriber is going to lose at least one finger this weekend. Have a happy 4th and God bless everyone. Have a good night, sir. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, everybody, try and retain as many fingers as possible for the 4th. Would you please? Did you get it pulled up, Bucky?
Yeah, I got all 3 of these.
Do you want to DM it to me, or do you want to?
No, they're already in the thread. So just
they're in the thread. Sorry, let me go back to it real fast. I got to get this guy real fast though. I got to get St. John's Crusade 30 seconds of Jade Toe money, and then we'll get right back to it. I know it's a weird diatribe. It's a weird little diversion, but the rules are the rules. Okay, I don't make them up. Actually, I do. All right, here we go. Actually, no, we can just do this one. All right, guys, that's enough of that. All right, let me go back to the thread there. Do you want me to take all this stuff?
Yeah, take those 3 pictures.
Okay. Shoot, Bucky, you got to name them something else other than image, dude. I have so many just raw images saved to my computer every time it does a little pop-up. Do you want to save? Okay. Are you sure you want to overwrite this?
Okay, I just screenshotted them on my computer.
No, I know, it's fine. It's fine, dude. I'm just kidding with you. It's just everybody tries to post like the same thing, and it doesn't have a unique name. So every time I have to overwrite it when I'm saving stuff from the Discord. All right. I don't think we need. Where was I? Gosh dang it! There's so many. There's so many of these pictures. We'll go right here. Why not? Okay, so this is the gun store. That is their vehicle. And did you get that photo from like
a local?
A local who just had it? Okay.
Yeah, I like a local was concerned and left me a tip, like an actual like good source, and not just the husband like flipping out and like giving me misinformation and like giving me weird shit.
So there we have this right here. So Abraham Gonzalez says this is the greatest in town. These guys are the funniest. I love talking about guns, music, food, and sure if you bring Pablo a double A food, AA food, and AA food. I don't know who AA is, but food. Assure you'll be loved dearly. The other customers are awesome, like someone named Julie. Do. Wires are connecting here. They're knowledgeable, and I couldn't say more. Bring food for discounts. That's Abraham Gonzalez. Now here we have a photo, sorry, from Julie Howlett at Accuracy Gun Shop Inc. And the review here, I love this gun store, 5 stars from the owner, who maybe the owner needs to be investigated a little bit as well. That the feeling is mutual, Julie, and we can see that that is a really weird photo of that, because that almost he's trying to make himself look childlike in that photo rather than the
Kind of looks like a turtle.
yeah, this is what he actually looks like. He looks like, I don't know, one of the Who's from Whoville.
It's kind of
or
like when
something.
you Lord Farquaad, if you hide his like lower jaw.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, so that is the gun store and the people there. And yeah, that does look almost like a side profile of Ian, which is funny. That is not Ian from Forgotten Weapons. It just looks like him, okay? Now we have more pictures of the car. We have pictures of this account driving the car so that we can isolate these two people together. Them using a night vision goggle in the interior of the car, which was
Yeah.
probably purchased again with the funds. Good.
Don't know if I posted it. Not sure if it does matter or not right now, but there's also a key fob that matches for the car.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to put them together. So
Right.
that's just one more piece of evidence. Now, specifically on this, is there anything else that we need to get to before we tie it together with the other 2 stories I added on?
No, I think that should cover it thoroughly.
Okay, perfect. So this will take us like 5 minutes and then we'll get out of here. So this is a 2A the Punk Way, which have you ever interacted with them, or are they interacting with
No.
either of these 2 people before?
No, I know that 2A the Punk Way would interact frequently with like the 3D printed gun space or the lefty gun space.
Hmm.
I
Right.
mean, like 2A the Punk Way would be seen interacting with this Julie Howlett with a self-posted photo of the sniper Mosinagant.
Okay. Anyways, 2A the Punkway says, I was laughing at Stratton Branch who put the super chat in there. I hate this terrorist for 2 reasons. If you want to hurt innocent people, I hope you die. And 2, she made all my trans homies get more hate. Listen, the worst enemy of trans people, it's not even a meme, it's not even a joke, it's just always trans people. Whether it's unaliving, whether it's their actions, whether it's the insane takes, the insane threats that they make against everyone and anyone who disagrees with them in the slightest, trans people are their own worst enemy. And I take the compassionate position of they actually need help, not to, go along with their self-made delusion, right? That's my position, is these people actually need legitimate help, not just, oh, actually, you're wonderful and beautiful just the way you are. And I'm going to participate in your delusion, which is going to lead you further and further down this rabbit hole of destruction and degeneracy. So, yeah, you're complaining, oh, this person's making all trans people look bad. And I'm like, no, like trans people just they got issues, okay? And they definitely need to sort it all out. It's not just an isolated incident of making them look bad. I've never once ever met, seen, or heard of a sane trans person who did not flip out and threaten violence anytime you question their identity. Okay, and then following up on this, just a little icing on the cake, I suppose. This was also from yesterday. Thank you for that over there on Ko-Fi. Democrat campaign staffer urges activists to kill your local Republican, plans trans genocide. So again, dude, whoever this 2A the Punkway is, like, just trans people in general. There just needs to be some sort of solution to fix the issue that they are causing themselves. Nobody is forcing them to be, hey, kill your local Republican so that we can have a trans genocide. None of us are forcing them to do that. They're doing it on their own, bro. So anyways, a volunteer staffer for Wisconsin Democrat congressional candidate Katrina DeVille, Cruella DeVille, posted a shocking series of videos planning a trans jihad and urging social media followers to kill your local Republican. Why do trans people have such a negative online reputation? I can't figure it out. Why do they seem so crazy? What's going on? It's just evil, mean MAGA people saying trans people are bad. Teha? Like, what the heck is Teha?
I don't know. Is that like a video game reference?
Teha. Like, what the heck kind of name is Teha? Earth in Portuguese. It's an artist, apparently. Also, very funny, if you Google Teha, Texas Environmental Health Association is the first thing that pops up. Teha. Okay, all right. Teha Delarue, a transgender male. So just a dude? When they say transgender male, do they mean a dude or a female pretending to be a dude?
Beats me.
Yeah, well, we'll find out when we play the video. Posted a deranged video on social media calling on followers to kill your local Republican and claiming that they only had 1 month to do so. Quick, act now. Kill your local Republican in the next 30 days and you'll win a free trip to the loony bin.
Hey, Tito and Tay here, and we're going to make...
Yeah, it's like, I know, you know, it's... How do I say this? Not all anime is bad. Not all anime enjoyers are bad. Of course. Right? But, Bucky, I think you're an anime enjoyer yourself. Am I correct in saying that?
How you say, like, at this point, it kind of turns into hate watching.
Well, okay, but there's an overlap between, you know, certain lovers and communities and just tranny degenerates, right? Not all of them, of course, because I know some very wholesome, red-pilled people who enjoy anime, but it's just there's a little bit of overlap.
I think it's just some sort of hobby that would attract, like men who are more apt to autism. It can be anything. Guns, can be cars, can be video games, 40K, whatever, anime.
Yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Understand. Anyways, but they always try and take on this cutesy little aesthetic, and maybe it's to just try and hide how like truly vile they are. Like they view themselves as the cutesy little like ditzy anime girl or something like that, and it's just like they're the polar opposite of that thing.
Hey, Tito and Tay here, and we're going to make this the moderate position for the state of Wisconsin, but I need your help because we have 1 month to do this. So let's do it.
I'm going to make kill your local Republican the moderate position. All right, buddy.
I think they just need to be segregated to be put into quarantine. We already have one called a male prison. I think after that, the problem would solve itself.
Anyways, pledged to start a trans jihad against the oppressor, the bigots, and the animals that make up MAGA. For decades, everyone else, all of the marginalized in-house minorities, we've had to be the ones that walk down the streets with anxiety, with fear, but no more, Delarue said. No more, folks. We're going to do the reverse. We're going to make it so they walk down the streets with fear, anxiety, and worry, and we're not going to make this like, oh, they got to do this for like a week or something where they get really scared. No, this is their new reality. They're so evil, though, right?
What is a house minority? Is that like the slur directed at that black ICE agent in Minnesota that one time?
Yeah, you're a house minority. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You my house Negro. You're one of the good ones. My fellow Negroes out there. You house Negroes. Anyways, no, this is their new reality. In another post, Delarue called for left-wing death squads to quote unquote smash MAGA. I gotta play the video one more time because it is funny. But again, anytime these people actually meet opposition, like this is just what's gonna happen to them. Crying and whining.
No, dude, no. Okay, I'll get out, please. Hold up. All right.
Yeah, the trans genocide is or the trans jihad is going to turn into a trans jihad if it was ever, or trans genocide if it was ever attempted. So, in another post, Delarue called for left-wing death squads, blah blah blah. Tea time with Taya, just absolutely retarded. And why is he putting the "Make America Great Again" hat on a black dude?
Hey, those people are like honorary whites, apparently.
Well, right, isn't that the thing? Asian men are honorary whites, and then black. Dude, there was an article. I'd have to pull it up. but it was like black men are the new white men of the MAGA movement or something absolutely retarded like that. And it turns out that they just hate anything that's heteronormative, which is such a gay term. The world is heteronormative. So they hate anything natural, traditional, beautiful, strong, anything like that. Anyways, Delarue has been active with the Democratic Party of Otagami Party. Otagami Party. What the heck is this?
I think it's like a variant or a splinter from the Pretoria faction.
I think it's just they just mean the county. So Democratic Party of Otagami County for years, and recently joined DeVille's campaign to challenge incumbent Republican Congressman Tony Wyde. Listen, if this is your opposition, man, if you lose your race, like, you just gotta like call it quits, bro. You're never running again, okay? But anyways, so that is I just can't figure out why normal, decent folk have some inherent natural aversion to these individuals. I just can't figure it out. I have no idea why people are averse to this sort of thing. Well, Bucky, unless you got anything else to add, that's all I had for tonight. I appreciate you putting in all the hard work compiling all of this stuff. What would you like to shout out or talk about before we get out of here?
I'd say the Uncle Oji stream, that's pretty good. I really would like to do my day job and not just deal with lunatics all the time. It's very unhealthy and unprofitable for me. So I like to just.
Well, are you still planning on pursuing this type of content for your YouTube channel, or are you kind of backing away from that? Like, what's your plans there?
I'm just having it be dormant. So if anyone, for those of you who subscribed in our patronage, if you want to discontinue it, that's totally understandable. But I just want to take it easy because I don't want to deal with like being in the crosshairs of a 50 caliber belt fed.
Well, right, and that is a little disconcerting, actually, being the target, or at least known and talked about by these types of individuals that we, as we have seen, are quite unhinged. So.
And will the FBI help me? No. It's only until like they just directly threaten the police that they finally do something about it.
Exactly.
But it's not like a victory. It's just a few pieces off the board.
That's well, and hopefully this leads to something else, right? Because if the feds actually were to do their job and to investigate everybody else that these people are involved with, you would think that that would lead to a cascading effect of people getting arrested, put away, at least investigated. Like, at the bare minimum, can we at least get them investigated, right? But that is sort of wishful thinking, I think.
Now, in terms of my involvement with the firearms industry or with other forms of firearms related social media, I will continue to pursue it in the future, but maybe not under the Glow So Bright channel. Maybe under collaborative efforts, or maybe done through another industry or through official company cover.
All right.
So
well,
I'm not
either
fully
way,
gone
man.
from the game, but with the GSB stuff, I'm not saying it's quits, but I'm just saying that it's a big, like, if the normies are flipping out over this sort of stuff, or you go on Twitter and all that stuff, or the news, imagine being the direct guy in the crosshairs that is much smaller.
Right. No, totally understandable, man. Well, we appreciate the work that you did. We'll get to these last couple of chats here from everybody, and then we'll call it a night.
And one more message. It's a fluke. I do not say that they're diligent or anything. It's just a fluke that no innocent people or law enforcement has gotten themselves hurt during this incident. It's just that they were so stupid to just threaten first, then threaten directly the cops before just going to some crowded area, some elevated position, and then just deploying the M2 with a tripod in the box of ammunition.
Well, yeah, and that is like the worst case scenario, right? If they had actually just gone
or raining grenades on top of a crowd of people.
Sure.
Like at a concert or so.
Well, again, like, I don't want to talk about it publicly, but if I were a nefarious person and wanted to cause a mass casualty event and I had access to $250,000 worth of equipment, like, with very little planning, I could execute a catastrophic casualty rate. But these people are incompetent, and it is lucky that no one was hurt in any way, shape, or form, and that there was a positive resolution. This may not be the case always going forward.
All right, so keep patting yourself in the back, LMVPD. You really acted on the information in a timely and prompt manner.
All right. Over on Ko-Fi, Command Sergeant Major Nate Higgerson, had to be careful pronouncing that, says, I'm over here crying about spending $100+ in 9mm yesterday just to mag dump into cardboard and paper, but this retarded Troon has unobtainium in plain view. Where the F is my free USAS 12 Fed boys? Also, shout out to my Uma wife, Tamamo Cross. She's the best Uma. Fight me on that. And I fortunately have no idea which Uma that is because I don't pay attention. But I'm glad that that's your favorite Uma. Congratulations on that, Mr. Nate Higgerson. One last one. Polly B for $20 on Ko-Fi says, give me what's good about this optic. Let me find it real fast. Where did I put it?
Because you don't understand.
Care. No, again, I don't fucking care, brother. Come on.
Okay,
I don't
great,
fucking care.
but
What's
just
good
keep
about
going.
this optic?
Says, like the Spanish Inquisition, I did not expect this stream. True. Not gonna lie, I'm a ride and die for Tucker Carlson's party. It doesn't have to win. My political creed is simple: GOP delanda est. I think a lot of people feel betrayed by the GOP and how they've handled this whole situation, because what we were promised was, mass deportations and safety and strict policing and fixing the judging in this country. But as we've seen, none of that has really happened. So I totally understand people's betrayal by the GOP and wanting some sort of third-party solution to fix it all for them, if that makes sense. Another couple on Ko-Fi or on Rumble. Bushmaster for 5 says, notice none of their guns are painted. Curious, painted guns marked safe from Troon. They did have that one picture saying they were going to paint a gun, but did you see any painted guns?
No, but they did take a laser engraver to rare stuff and put tranny stuff all over it.
That is true. They did mutilate certain firearms.
They mutilated the
no,
Uzi, they mutilated a Mark 23 with a LAM unit, an original one, and a bunch of other stuff as well.
Again,
they like to mutilate anything that is wholesome and masculine and good.
Really? That's a little on the nose, don't you think? Now, speaking of on the nose, over here,
Mr. Noom says, John, that VTuber cat thing was torture yesterday. I can't believe you guys actually went over there. That was a joke. A very funny joke. Which I was laughing after the stream, knowing that at least a couple people, hey, I see Wubba Bubba in the chat. Wubba Bubba, thank you for that gift. Wubba Bubba, I just watched, me and my kid watched, my 5-year-old son Bruce watched your, video on if every state was a firearm. Everyone should go check that out. I appreciate you being in the chat, man. Thanks for the gift.
So I forgot the voice was still on, so I should probably turn that off before, because I would just keep going, okay? And some people would get a little too excited, and the rest of the people would just turn off. Let's see. Over here. Thank you, St. John's Crusade. Appreciate you. Great support, sir. Lon Richie for 5 says, how are they going to get rid of us? Most are scared to get rid of their own balls. See, yeah, I don't think the follow through of the Troons is not great. 40% success rate, 41% success rate, and that's not even relevant to pre or post op. I don't even think the numbers change pre or post op. So, yeah. It's in some ways it's a self-correcting problem, but there's always more that could be done. Thank you, Lon Richie. Strategy Branch for 10 says, I just got a Samson VFG and found out it can be temporarily removed from the mount, just like Julie. Don. I don't even want to know. It's like, Julie, you've barely touched your forearm skin graft. Where they cut off part of your forearm and then graft it into a shape on your.
So you have to shave your penis.
Well, they form a phallic object and then staple it onto you somehow. I don't want to know how this works. My personal opinion is any doctor who performs one of these surgeries needs to be needs to have their medical license revoked, because there's no way you could cut up another human being in this elective, unhelpful surgery. You're basically being a psychopath from the 19th century. You know, you read like old horror books or something like that, and there's this doctor who's performing like weird surgeries on people and doing like all sorts of crazy experiments. And it's like that's
Unit
just what
7
they're doing now.
It's like like Dr. Mengele or like Unit 731 journal logs.
Dude, I if you're cutting up people's arms and like stapling it and stitching it to their crotch after removing what's ever already there, I think you might be worse than some of those people. And you get paid to do it and lauded by certain parts of society. Also, thank you to everybody in chat who's dropping gifts. I see them all. Unfortunately, they disappear, but I really appreciate you guys doing that. Oh, I hope that it's free for you guys too. Dillwheat for 10 says multiple Democrat officials have already been caught advocating for murdering right-wingers and double down when asked. We are in a new stage of this rotting republic like the late Roman Republic. I tend to agree with that. I tend to think that this is just another empire in decline. Now, I don't have a strong position on how long that decline will take. Will it be 5 years? Will it be 50 years? Will it be 100 years that America just kind of limps on and then eventually just degrades into Brazil? Like, who knows, right? Literally, who knows? We can only hope for the best and do our part. Okay, there we are. Now we're all caught up. Okay, one last time, Bucky, anything you want to shout out before we get out of here?
For 4th of July, enjoy the food. Don't burn your forest or desert down. Keep all your fingers in your hand, and also don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population.
You can add to the population. Procreation is good. That'll be allowed
as long as it's done in the right way. And stay away from newspapers, hospital, the jail, and yeah.
True. Yeah. Don't end up on the news like the subjects of today's stream. But with all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us on a Thursday night special. Thank you for Bucky for coming on and filling us in, not in a gay way. But we appreciate it. Godspeed. God bless to everyone out there. Have a great week. And actually, well, we'll see you tomorrow. So we'll see you before the weekend truly kicks off. God bless. Godspeed. Christ is King, gents.
The glamour waking up. Shut it down. Me mom died in a Harley. Me pa was killed by Stalin. Me mom died in a Harley. Me pa was killed by Stalin. Ay, they got slimed up by Stalin. For my daddy in a coffin. I'm a Jew, Finkelstein. My uncle, my grandma was lying. Pulled up on me, mom. Ay, put her in the count. Ay, told her get a word or be turned into a lamb. Mom died in a Harley. Me pa was killed by Stalin. Me mom died in a Harley. Me pa was killed by Stalin. Ay, they got slimed up my grandma and my aunt. In 1945, they were getting fucked up. Stalin put up on me pa. Ay, put him in the count. Ay, then his op sprayed his ass with the fucking chop. My mom died in a Harley. Me pa was killed by Stalin. Me mom died in a Harley. Me pa was killed by Stalin.